My next guest in the program is a young lady who I dare say you're going to know. Eddie Perfect brings to the Comedy Theatre in Melbourne tonight The Beast. Co-starring my next guest, Christie Whelan Browne, one of our award-winning actors here in Australia, and most recently seen in Jerry's Girls and Nice Work If You Can Get It. You remember her too from Channel 7's The Peter Allen Story. She played Olivia Newton-John. Her credits have included Singing in the Rain, Anything Goes, The Producers, Xanadu, what a great show, Grease, Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries on TV, of course, more TV with Winners and Losers, and House Husbands, to mention but a few. Her resume and her bio is just huge. Christie Whelan Browne is on the line now, and we're going to chat about this new show starting tonight called The Beast. Christie, nice to have you with us.
Hello, what a nice intro, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today, and you've got a very, very busy day because you're on stage tonight at 7:30 at the Comedy Theatre with The Beast. Tell me about The Beast. What's it about?
Oh, look, where do I start?
Well, it's a black sort of comedy, isn't it?
It's a very dark comedy.
Yeah.
Basically, we follow three couples who make a tree change. They move out to, a destination that's unknown, but, in our heads it's the Yarra Valley.
Yep.
And they decide to have a dinner party where they will have an ethical calf humanely slaughtered, and then they'll make a degustation, and everyone cooks a meal and whatnot. But the man who's coming to do the slaughtering of the cow doesn't show. So then they're faced with the question, which we all ask: if you had to kill your own meat, would you do it? So then hilarity ensues.
And who kills the beast in the end?
Oh, I couldn't give that away.
Well, I'll be there tonight, so I'll see it.
You'll see.
I'll see
Yeah.
it, does it? Yeah. Now, what part are you playing in this, Christie?
I play a lady named Jen, who's in quite an awful relationship. Has got a monster of a husband, and she's self-medicating to get through life.
Sounds like it's 40 plus.
Look, it's just the thing is, in all these couples, as bad as they all are, we know these people, or we're married to these people.
Yeah.
It's all very relatable.
You can identify.
Definitely. Well, not with Jen, personally, but...
You can't. Now, who plays opposite Eddie Perfect in this?
It's Alison Bell.
Alison Bell,
plays
right.
Eddie's wife, Marge, and she sort of refuses to have anything to do with the rest of us. She thinks we're all pretty messed up humans, so she's sort of on the outer of the whole thing.
And is this beast bought? Has it just come off the farm, or has it been stolen? What's happened?
No, they went to an ethical farm where they have free-range organic cows, and so it was very expensive, and so it's all ethical.
This is quite a departure for you from your recent things you've been doing, from television of Peter Allen, even Winners and Losers. Then you go and look at The Producers and Xanadu. This is quite different for you, isn't it?
It is, and I've got to say, I did find it very hard to play a woman who was being treated so poorly by a man. I found myself enraged leaving work at night, and then I think it's really good to play all these different roles and get all these different perspectives. I feel so lucky to be a part of this play because I saw it. I was a fan. I went and saw it when it was on at the MTC, like so many Melbournians did. And
a few years back, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I just adored it. So the fact that I get to be in it and do something different than I've ever done, I feel very, very lucky.
I suppose being an actor, it's almost a silly question to ask you, but how do you adapt to things like that? Because it is quite different, this sort of show that you've done anything before. You got a lot of direction to take to get the part across. What happens?
I think it's just, in this case, it was just a matter of getting my head around it. I started to play this character who's very submissive. I started to play her with a bit of anger. Whenever she did speak, she'd be firing back. And then I thought, no, you've got a duty to the role here. She's not any of the things that, you are. So it was accepting that, for the play to move in the way that it does, I had to play this part and accept it. And I think it was just time that made me okay with it.
Christie, who's your on-stage partner in this one?
His name's Rowan Nickel. He's done a lot of film and he's worked in the US. He's an amazing actor and he plays the a-hole the biggest a-hole of the whole show, and he does it so well.
Does he really?
But I'm happy to let you know he's nothing like that in real life.
So as his character, no one you would really want to marry, would he?
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't want to know him. And Eddie Perfect wrote all of this, didn't he? Did he write this? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's totally Eddie's sort of... He has this sense of humour that is very dark, but it's keenly observed, of human nature, and it pokes fun at pretty much everyone, so no one gets left out.
It's going to be very, very interesting tonight, isn't it? And now, how long's the show? Does it go over 120?
We just have 2 weeks.
No, in time factor tonight. Duration, what, a couple of hours on stage?
Yeah, it is. It's 2.5 with an interval.
So you'd find that quite exhausting then, because you'd be on stage a good part of the show, wouldn't you?
Well, the second act, we're all on there for the whole time.
Non-stop?
It's a very... coming from the musical world, singing, dancing, the whole thing, I thought a play would feel like a walk in the park in comparison. But this play especially, lots of screaming, lots of murdering animals, it takes it out of you.
What do you do when you go home after rehearsals? Now, the show hasn't started. It doesn't start till tonight, so I can't ask you what happens after the show. But after your rehearsals of a night, what do? You go home and have a drink or something, or how do you relax?
I'm really good at that. I'm good at switching off as soon as I walk out. But for me, it's, watching a good comedy, a Family Guy episode or something, unwind, and you're just enjoying having someone else make me laugh, really. Because
it sounds like it's fully put on stage, so you've got to watch what you're doing, I suppose, come out from there. As you say, you can turn off, and that's really good. You can switch off, and you're there to relax and prepare for the next day, I suppose.
But it's the thing where your life sort of revolves around you getting through the show. With this show, we do a lot of screaming, so our voices were getting damaged and tired, and so the next day you can't talk because you have to do it all again that night, because we just came in from our Sydney season at the Opera House. So I now know for Melbourne what it is I exactly need to do.
Well, you've got a great space at the Comedy Theatre. It's a very intimate theatre. It's a lovely, lovely theatre.
It's great for this show as well, because in Sydney we had an audience of 500, and we did a preview here in Melbourne last night for 750 people, and there was a roar of laughter coming towards us. It just felt so wonderful.
Yes.
And Melbourne audiences, I think, just really get this show. They get the humour. They get on board right away.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it tonight. There'd be a lot of bad living in this, I'd say, isn't there? You'd have a bit of licence, wouldn't you?
Well, we're not supposed to, but it doesn't stop anyone, I'll tell you that.
I can imagine it's so funny, you'd be hard pushed not to crack up and want to go left field instead of going right field.
Well, actually, the funniest thing about this show is what it brings out in an audience. I've never experienced an audience cheering, booing the baddie, cheering for when the baddie gets hurt. It's very Shakespearean in that way.
That's very vulnerable, isn't it? Yeah, pantomime, even pantomime.
True. Last night they were screaming out for my husband, called Simon. They were screaming out at him. They just couldn't stand him, which he just adores, because then he says, well, at least I know I'm doing my job.
Well, he's communicating with the audience, isn't he?
Yeah. But anyway, you'll see it firsthand tonight.
It sounds like a hoot. On for about 2.5 weeks at the Comedy Theatre, and it's starting tonight. Christie, great to talk to you. I'll see you tonight, obviously, and we'll have a chat afterwards. So all the best for tonight.
Thank you. See you there.
Take care. Bye-bye to you.